It's no secret that buying books is a big hobby of mine, but honestly, I feel like it might be getting a little bit out of hand because today we are doing another book haul that will feature at least 10 books because I just was in the mood for buying books. Okay, I don't really have an excuse. As my physical TBR would suggest, I have more than enough books to read for the foreseeable future, but I continue to buy books because I like it. So let me show you the books. So let me show you the books I bought recently because this is yet another book haul, which I don't know how many book hauls I did this year, but I bought quite a bit of books. I do have here a little selection of books that are already open, but I also do have two packages that I still need to open. So what do we do first? The open books or the packages? I think I'll do the already open books and then I'll open the packages and figure out what is in each of them because, to be honest, I'm not really sure. The only thing I'm sure about these packages is that for some reason they decided to do different shippings, which honestly is kind of annoying. But let's stop complaining and go to the books I bought. The first one is Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. I actually have quite a bit of Lynn Painter on my TBR, but I bought yet another one because I just see so many people talking about these books, and every time I tried to buy it, it was always out of stock. So when I saw it was on stock, I bought it because I had FOMO and I want to know what it is about. According to the back of the book, it is about Liz and Wes, and they are in high school, and Wes will be fake dating Liz because she wants to make some boy jealous. And I'm still not sure where I stand in high school romances, but I'm willing to give it a try with this book because I keep hearing good stuff. This next book has been on my little list of books I want to buy for quite some time, and I finally bought it because honestly I heard it was really weird. It's apparently Dark Academia, and I don't think I really read Dark Academia. I believe I might read some books that some people would say like Dark Academia people, Dark Academia characters would read, but I don't really read Dark Academia books itself. But anyways, people say Bunny by Mona Awad, it's a very weird book, and I do like weird stories, and I'm back in my weird books phase, or I'm back into really weird books, so Bunny seemed like a good option, and I've always been so curious, and I'm excited to read and figure out what this book's about. Continuing in the Dark Academia theme, I got The Secret History by Donna Tartt. I don't really know what this book is about. I just see it being mentioned all the time, and yeah, people always say The Secret History, The Cold Finch. Honestly, I can't really tell what plot is in each book, but I guess I'll be reading The Secret History first. Another book that has been on my books I want to buy for quite some time is The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. This is a book that explores mental health, and apparently it follows an unlikable character, an unlikable woman who lives in New York around 50s, 60s, and she suffers from depression. I have like a fantasy section in this haul, so let me leave that for last in terms of open books. One that I believe is literary fiction is A Man Called Ove by Frederick Beckman. People seem to really enjoy this book. I remember hearing a lot about it a few years ago, and apparently there is a movie with Tom Hanks that it was inspired by this book. And if that wasn't enough, this book is about a grumpy man that doesn't really get along with his neighbors, and then one day a young family moves in next door to him, and they becomes friends or something like that. It seemed wholesome, it seemed sweet, and maybe it would be worth the hype. So now let's go to the 3 fantasy books I already unopened. So I've been curious about a book called Once Upon a Broken Heart or something like that by Stephanie Garber, and I was about to buy that book, but then I heard that there is another very popular fantasy series that takes place in the same universe, and the timeline, it happens a little bit before Once Upon a Broken Heart. So I got Caraval, which is the first book in that series, just to give it a try, see if I want to read the series, and then read it before I dive into Once Upon a Broken Heart. And maybe if I do and I read the whole series, by the time I'm finished with it, the Once Upon a Broken Heart novels will be not as expensive as it currently is. But what Caraval is about, honestly, I don't know much. I read that it is something about some girls. They go to this festival they weren't allowed before, and they're one of the girls, they get kidnapped, and there is a whole journey to find her or something like that. I'm honestly not really sure what it is about, but I'm excited to read it. But honestly, I'm more excited to read these 2 next books because if you've been following the channel for at least a couple of videos, you might know that I've recently became or fell in love with the Folk of the Air series slash the Cruel Prince series, and I've been binging the books from the series because I'm so in love with the series. I got some more books that takes place in the same universe. The first one is How the King of Elfheim Learned to Hate Stories, and this is a compilation of short stories about Cardan and on the point of view of Cardan. If you don't know, Cardan is one of the main characters in the Folk of the Air trilogy. It just seemed interesting, and I'm just so curious about the world and about the characters. Of course, I need it. And in the same universe, and this is actually one of the books that inspired this first section of the book haul, which was actually all bought all at once because I was stressed and I started to buy books. And this book was incredibly, the price was incredibly not what I was expecting. For a moment, I thought it was fake because I don't know if it was on sale, some special sale or something, but it was so just so cheap. And it is The Stolen Air by Holly Black. This is a new series that takes place in the same universe of the Folk of the Air series, and it follows Oak, who is the brother from the main character in the Cruel Prince series. And now we are already in the unboxing phase. I have a big box, I have a small package. I think I'll start by the small package because it is on top of the big box. Let me get the scissors. I believe it is only unboxed by the size of it, and I've been excited to read this book ever since Tolerated by Taylor Swift. It is Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. And honestly, this was the cheapest cover I could find, and I think the cheapest cover was one of the most beautiful ones, the prettiest one. It was either, actually there is a prettier cover, but that one was just so like expensive. I think it's collector's edition, and I'm not willing to buy the collector's edition of this book yet because I never read it. But anyways, this is Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. This is a classic novel, and it follows this woman, a young woman, and she marries this older man who is a widow. And from the moment she moves into his house, there's just this, like, the spirit of his late wife, Rebecca, is just so powerful, and it's just, it is in the house. She enters in the house, and apparently her stuff is still around. The staff always talk about her, always say how they like her or something like that. And also this book inspired Tolerated, which is a Taylor Swift song I actually really like. So finally I will be able to read the material that inspired the song. Also, apparently this book, there's a very similar book by a Brazilian author that came out actually before Rebecca, and people say this book's actually a copy of that Brazilian book that I don't remember the name, because apparently the Brazilian author sent her manuscript, her translated manuscript, to the same publisher that originally published Rebecca, but honestly I'm not sure of anything, so don't quote me on this, but I am also maybe intrigued and I maybe might search for that book that they say Rebecca was copied from and see how similar they are, but that's a story for another video. Now let's go to the big box. So we have 1, 2, 3 or 5 books. Yes, 5 books. So let's dive into them because I already removed a lot of plastic packaging from them, which is great for the environment. The first book is Alone with You in Theater by Olivia Blake. I heard this is a beautiful romance about two people that just meet by chance, and it just seemed interesting, and I only see people talking great things about this book, so I was quite interested in exploring the story. The second book in the pile, it's not my favorite cover actually, I really don't like this cover, even though it is quite weird. I personally prefer the other cover, but also it's expensive, so I got this one. Anyway, it is A Certain Hunger by Chelsea G. Summers. This is a book about a cannibal woman who kills and apparently also eats her lovers or something like that. Apparently she's also a food critic. It just seems so weird, so bizarre, and I think I might really enjoy this book because it's so bizarre. Also, why there's a knife on the pineapple? This cover is just so, this cover is not it, but maybe the story will be it. The second 2 books they're both sequels. It is the first book in the Daisy Hates by Chessa Hastings, and this is the second book in the Magnolia Park series, by the way. And then we have Magnolia The Long Way Home, and I indeed got the old covers, thankfully, because I think they are way prettier than the newer covers. So I'll read this soon, because if you watched my reading books with pretty covers, or I think that's the title I put it, but I read Magnolia Parks, I really enjoyed it. It felt like Gossip Girl, but not the reboot, the OG Gossip Girl with Blake Lively and Little Mister, and I did grow up with Gossip Girl. So yeah, this book basically, it threw me back in a good way to my preteen teen years, where I would read the Gossip Girl novels and watch the Gossip Girl series. And then we're already on the last book in this haul. It is Big Swiss by Jen Began. It is about this woman who is hired to transcribe therapy sessions, and apparently she lives in a very small town, so she recognizes the voices of the people whenever she walks around the city. She recognizes which are the people, who are the clients she's transcribing, and she knows all their secrets. And one day I think something happens with one of those clients, she gets involved with them, and it seemed like such a weird book again, and I'm in my weird book era. So yeah, that's it for this haul. How many books did I get it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 books. This is my moderate size book haul of 14 books. I do need to find space for all of them in my TBR now, but yeah, I hope you liked this video. If you did, give a like, subscribe, and I will see you soon. Bye!